All right. Hey, everybody. Many of you guys do know me already, which is great. Some of you have never seen me before, but my name is Tony Spatafor. I am I guess I hold a bunch of different roles, but here at Church in the Park, I come every once in a while, and I'll sit with you guys and eat or speak. That's really what my heart and passion is. And today we are doing a 6-hour workshop. Transformational workshop where you will get to lay down burdens. You will get to discover who you are, your purpose, your value, your identity. And you'll be able to lay down all those things that are keeping you stuck. I don't want you to be stuck where you are like I was. I was stuck for so many years doing the same thing, but nothing was actually changing. And so throughout the day, we are going to be doing something really interesting. What I'm calling this workshop is the Mountain's Edge. Mountain's Edge is a journey of ascent. Part of ascending, though, is descending too. So we're going to be climbing a mountain together today. This is the mountain of life, really. And as you're climbing up a mountain, as you guys know, you go up a little bit, but sometimes you have to go down. Sometimes you have to climb over things, you have to crawl, you have to use all hands and feet at the same time. There's so many different parts of the ascent of the mountain of life. And the beauty is we get to do this together today. So let me just ask you guys a few questions. How many of you guys feel like you are wearing a mask to conceal your true identity? Do you feel like, life has forced you to put on something to please other people? What do you guys think?
Yeah, sometimes I feel like I'm faking it to just get through.
Yeah, for me, it's I don't know, I just go through the motion. It's like I'm in pilot mode sometimes. And it's just I just wake up and do the same things and then go to bed and repeat. So it just feels dull.
Yeah, absolutely. And that's how I felt for a lot of years, not living true to my authentic self. And I think that's what a lot of us do. We're trained to do that by our society. If I want someone to like me, I put away the things that I might be ashamed of so that I can be more likable. Or if I'm trying to get a job, I might lie here or there so that I get hired. I like to hide my past is basically what I used to do. And I think that's what a lot of us do. We've done things in our past that we're ashamed of. And without confronting it, we let yesterday affect our tomorrow. And what we really need to do is recognize those things. We need to approach those things and see them for what they are, leave the past behind and overcome those things so that we can walk boldly into tomorrow without being held back by everything else. So that's what this ascent journey is going to look like today. It's not going to be easy because our pasts are not. Our mistakes are not easy, but they're very real parts of our lives. And they're very real things that have made us who we are today, and maybe not in the right shape that we were supposed to be molded in. We've done things that we're not proud of. We've done things that we might still be ashamed of. We've done things that are limiting us from taking a step forward up the mountain of life. And so today, let's climb this mountain hand in hand. This is a no judgment space, a safe place for all of us here to walk together and climb. So the first thing I want to ask you guys is if you can think about your whole life's journey up to this point, give me one word that describes that journey. Just one word. And I'll write it on the whiteboard.
Surviving.
Surviving. Okay.
Difficult.
Any other words that you guys can think of since it's a small class?
Choices.
Choices.
Regrets.
Regrets. Okay. Let's start with this, all right? Now, I believe that we are all made in God's image. That's what I believe. I believe that we all have tremendous value and we are made to be on this earth. We have purpose. We were created for something amazing. Now, in my belief, if I thought that I was supposed to be here, would I think that whoever created me would just create me to survive? Not thrive, just survive, barely make it. What do you guys think? Maybe you feel like that creator, whoever it is, has abandoned you.
I mean, there could be times that it feels like that.
Okay, maybe seasons of surviving. So maybe some seasons feel a little better than others, would you say?
Yeah.
Okay. What about difficulties? Should our life be completely dictated by difficulties? Should we have some sort of joy in the midst of all that?
I mean, I think we learn from the difficulties, but I don't think, like with your belief that the creator or someone who made us to have a purpose would force difficulties upon us, but I don't know.
Okay, yeah, that's a very interesting thought, right? Because if I go through life believing that, at least for my belief, I'm created, but they're causing difficulties for me, that might make it really hard to see my own value, right? Because the one who made me is actually hurting. That would be really tough. Okay. What about choices? We all have choices, right? I know I have done a lot of dumb things in my life. I made some really poor choices that have hurt others, hurt me, hurt everyone around me. But I also know that I made some good choices that have really helped people and really advanced my life too. You guys feel like, as a whole, you guys feel like you've made more right choices in your life or wrong choices?
I feel like, oh, sorry. You can go ahead.
I just feel like, I think I always thought consequences were bad, but then I learned, I guess, like through baby steps that the consequence there could be a good consequence. The consequence just means like the result of a choice. And sometimes when you make a good choice, the consequence is a positive thing.
Okay.
Because we have a lot more control than we think we do, I guess. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So consequences could have negative or positive outcomes. Yeah, that's totally true, right? Depending on the choices that we make. And what about regrets? We'll just do a show of hands on this one. How many of you guys have regrets? Okay, yeah, pretty much the whole classroom, right? So I just wanted to get a baseline of kind of where we're at in thinking about our own lives. I'll erase this real fast. The next thing that we're going to do is a little different. And throughout this course, we are going to be using some visualization techniques where I'm going to guide you through some sort of imagination type of work where you can picture in your own head or your own mind's eye, however you want to say it, this process that I'm going to take you through. Okay? So if you all could, I want you to close your eyes. And what I want you to do is picture your own mountain. Everyone's mountain's going to be unique. But think of your life's journey. What's on the mountain? Is it teeming with life? Is it more rocky? Are there weeds? Thorn bushes? Mountains and valleys? I'll give you guys some time. Now I want you to imagine where you are at on your mountain. Are you at the base? Are you somewhere in the middle? Are you nearing the top? You lost, stuck somewhere? Find where you are. I'll give you about 10 minutes, 10 seconds. Alrighty, you can slowly open your eyes. Okay. What does your mountains look like? Give me some things that were on your mountain, even if it was difficult.
I mean, on mine, I saw dry grass.
Okay. Dry grass. We'll start with that. Do you want to go a little deeper? What you think that might symbolize for you?
In my life,
Sure. This is your journey. Why do you think there would be dry grass on your mountain?
I guess the seasons that I've been through, they're very dry and I don't know, not too alive, I guess. Lack of life.
Lack of life. Okay. Lack of life. So do you think dry for you could mean like not living to your potential? Lack of life. What would that mean to you? Like joy? Would that mean fulfillment? What would that mean for you?
I guess lack of joy.
Lack of joy. Okay. Okay. What else is on your mountain?
Tall trees with no fruit.
Tall trees and no fruits. Okay. So tall trees, but no fruits. Do you think you could go a little deeper? Why do you think you would have tall trees but without any fruit?
I mean, I feel like you could relate to like no accomplishments in my life. Like a lot of things that were started but not finished and didn't bear any fruit.
Okay. So maybe dreams that you had that might have been like intimidating, or you didn't believe that you could actually fulfill that dream, and so you kind of gave up on it?
Yeah.
Is that I know what you're saying? All right, so I'm going to write no accomplishments or dreams here. But the fact that these trees are tall, I want you to be encouraged, because that means you took steps to pursue a dream and they grew, which means you grew. So there is hope. Those dreams aren't dead, right? All right. What else? What other things were on the path?
There were a lot of like holes on the ground.
Holes.
Yeah.
Okay. Were these deep holes, big holes? Did they have spikes in them? Shallow?
They were just like deep holes. Like if I would go in them, I probably wouldn't be able to get out.
Okay. Now, do you think these are kind of like areas where you had already fallen, or are these pit traps up the mountain that you could fall in?
I'd say both.
Both?
Like, yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to put pit traps. Now, quick question. Would seeing holes on your mountain above, would that scare you to keep taking steps forward at the possibility of falling in one of them?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody wants to fall in a hole and get stuck there. I've definitely been stuck in one or two before, so
But it looks like if there's some holes behind you, that means you made it out of them, correct?
I guess so.
Which means you overcame something. And so I think all of our mountains might have some holes. But the beauty of it is you have overcome before. Does that mean you can do it again?
Yeah.
Yeah, you can. You totally can, right? Because we're just looking at one step at a time now. So these upcoming holes, sure, they might be there, but what we're focused is on right here, right now, in this moment. The cool thing is all those holes that we climbed out of in the past, we get to take everything that we learned from those. So when we're taking the next step and it feels like we're going to drop into that hole, we already know better. And we'll find a way around it, or build a bridge across it, or fill it in with gravel so we never have to fall in it ever again. Pretty cool, huh? All of those things that you fell into before, it's not a waste. It wasn't for nothing, because they are going to help you succeed in the climb. Cool?
Yeah.
So I'm also going to put ropes here. All right, what about somebody else? What did you see on your mountain?
I saw bad men, like, I don't know, hunters? Scary men. Shammy? I mean,
Do you mind elaborating?
real. I don't know, in some ways I was like, I think before I would have been beneath him, looking up at them, scared of them, but now I'm like climbing a mountain and I'm kind of looking
Okay.
back at them in a way, like down on them. They're still sinister, but I'm not beneath them anymore.
Wow. Do you feel like that's your present story, or do you feel like that's the to come story?
I feel like that's my present story. Like,
That's great.
I'm rising above all that and looking back at choices I made that it was my own fault, I guess, that I allowed that kind of like presence in my life, like
Okay.
maybe bad people, maybe, I don't know, maybe that's bad boyfriends, maybe bad choices I was making, but
Yeah. Absolutely.
I feel like I'm climbing past it kind of in a way.
So do you feel like you can recognize some of the things that these guys had done so that doesn't happen again up the mountain?
Yeah, I think, I don't know, a lot of it has to do with my own confidence in myself. Like, I think looking back, I think I needed them to tell me who I was, or like needed a band to say I was pretty or something. But then now I feel like, I don't know, I'm climbing out of that. I'm climbing above that when I don't need someone else to define me, but I can choose how to define me.
Yeah.
I mean, does that make sense?
Yeah, no, for sure, for sure. A lot of the times, and I don't want to generalize, but a lot of the times, especially in my life, I let people decide who I am, right? And so whether that be an employer, a family member, a friend, they were my identity. And if they said something about me, whether it be, let's just say something negative, right? Let's say they said I was too slow at something on the sports team. That became my identity. Now I was someone who was too slow, which means I shaped my life now around that identity, which means I worked harder and went to the gym, and which was all good, but I was doing it because someone's opinion filled my identity. The other thing is, sometimes people spoke really good things about me, right? But that boosted my ego a little bit too much and made me a little bit too confident. And when I would go into situations, well, my mom told me that I was so good at speaking and doing all this stuff, but in reality, I put myself in a situation overconfident, didn't prepare, and, well, fell flat on my face. In all of them, I became what other people told me I am, rather than simply being uniquely who I was meant to be, right? So it's really, really cool that not only do you recognize this on your mountain and see them beneath you now, but you also identified some markers on why they were in your life in the first place. And I can only imagine how long these bad men kept you stuck at a certain point on your journey, on your climb. Does that kind of make sense? Do you resonate with that? Did they keep you stuck in a place for a while?
Well, I think I used to think they kept me stuck, but now I realize I kept me stuck. I mean, my choices, I think putting them in a place of dominance over me, I don't know if that's the right word.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Like, it kept me stuck instead of, I don't know, me living my own life with my own goals and like rising above it no matter whether I was being treated good or being treated bad. If I, kind of like you said, maybe I let them define me for a long time, but I think that's why I see myself above them a little bit now, because I'm not giving them so much power for my...
Gotcha. Yeah, totally. For sure. Before we move on, is there anything else that you saw on your mountain?
It's weird, like, when I'm looking back at those men, all the trees are brown, and they're like scraggly. I don't know if that's the word, but like cracking branches and like dry and scraggly. But then when I turn away from them and I look the other way, upward, like in front of me, the trees are green and they're like full of life and body. It's like two different scenes. I can see, I don't know, like a, kind of like she was saying a minute ago, like dry and then like living.
Yeah. No, that totally makes sense, right? Because if we surround ourselves with people who are constantly bringing us down, everything around us is going to feel kind of miserable, right? But once we overcome this and we find friends who are willing to, from above, lift us up, we will just keep taking steps forward and our path gets really green and fruitful and fun and full of life because we're not having to suffer at the hands and the burdens of somebody else. We get to enjoy the path and the journey with people who are also going up and willing to bring us up with them, which is pretty cool. So now quick question. Did any of you guys see the top, like the summit of your mountain? What did that look like?
I'll say I saw the peak, but it seemed a little bit farther to me where I was at. And I mean, the only thing that I can think of is that probably above there, the view is gorgeous. It's like what everybody says when you climb the mountain and then you get to the top, the view, that's amazing. So it's worth to climb it. So I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure the view from there was pretty cool. I just didn't get to see it.
Gotcha.
Saw the peak.
Did anyone else actually see what was on top of the summit or see maybe what it would have looked like?
I just definitely see like a bright light, or like, you know, it's a like light, like a not like a kind of light, but like it's glowing, and I don't think it's peace,
Okay.
maybe.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Kind of like the feeling I have when I like come here every week, like to church in the park. Like I feel like I'm walking towards something right and better than my like normal life. Like enough things.
Yeah. No, absolutely. And the beauty of this kind of workshop, right, is we're going to do a couple things. This was a very quick visualization of our mountain just to get a baseline. But later on, we're going to imagine or pretend, however you want to say it, and speak to our future self that's already at that summit, surrounded by light, looking at that beautiful vista, right? And we're going to get to ask them questions. Ask them for advice. What advice would your future self who's standing up there give you, an encouragement to take the next step and the next step and the next step? But we're also going to interview our past self and ask them, what advice do you have for me to not make the same mistakes that you made so that I can continue to take that next step to reach the summit at the top, so that by the end, it might not be after this 6 hours, but this course is designed to empower you to take that next step, for you to replicate it, to then follow that step with another. So that may be in a month or two, or maybe it's next week, maybe it's a year from now. As we recognize these things and keep stepping forward, we actually reach the top and be full of freedom, full of purpose, full of value, full of brand new identity that's not based around other people's opinions, but simply the unique you, the authentic you that was always made to be here on the earth. And it's a beautiful journey. And so I want to I just want to be honest. This path is not easy, right? Can you guys tell that even with these things right here, this isn't going to be easy to climb? Would you agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. So part of this course is going to actually find and recognize, why is there dry grass on my path in the first place? What mindset has kept me lacking joy, lacking fulfillment? And what are things I can do to step out of that, overcoming it, so that that dry grass turns bright green? And even more, maybe wildflowers grow up in that grass. We're going to work on those mindsets. We're also going to look at things like this. Why do I start something and not finish it? There are so many dreams that we have, right? But we let the world tell us, you'll never be enough. You can't accomplish that. And then we tell ourselves when we look in the mirror, you've already messed up here and there. You don't deserve to reach that goal, that dream, that accomplishment. And no one believes me anyways, right? So why would I do it? We're going to check that mindset, figure out what's there, how to overcome it, and reframe it. These holes and pit traps, we briefly touched on it, right? We looked at the fear that's involved moving forward. Are we going to let those holes stop us from taking the next step? Maybe in the past we would, right? Because they're intimidating. They're real. These are real struggles that we might face, real walls that we might actually have to climb. But we're going to reframe it. And if we need to build a bridge over that hole, we'll do it. If we need to fill it with gravel, we'll do it. If we're climbing up and we see someone else already inside the hole, we're going to learn how to pull them out so that they can continue their climb too. And if we fall in, we're going to use what we learned from our past holes on how to climb out of the present ones. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
We aren't doing this by ourselves. The beauty of it is we get to do it together. And then you'll get to replicate this in your own life. Whenever one of these things pops up, you'll know exactly what to do and the mindset change that needs to happen. Because every hole that we approach, we can stay in this broken mindset that keeps us stuck. Or you can recognize it and say, okay, this is a hole. I'm stuck. It's real. The struggle is valid. But I'm going to overcome it. I'm going to get out my journal or whatever it is. I'm going to write down where I'm at and the steps that I need to take so that that hole is not intimidating. But each day I can do that one step to climb out of that hole and continue on my journey up. We're going to look at the mindset, just as you guys talked about. We tend to surround ourselves or give ourselves over to people who harm us, but they tell us good things about ourselves. Or maybe they tell us really bad things, but we're so fearful that they're going to hurt us or fearful that they're going to leave us, and they're the only ones that understand us. They're the only ones who knows what happened in my past, and they're the only ones who believe in me, but they're tearing me down. We're going to look at the mindset that makes that happen and flip it on its head so we can grow in exactly who we were created to be from the beginning of the world. Unique and authentic, full of value, full of purpose, with no lack. And finally, we're going to take this journey seeing what was from behind and looking forward in joy to what's up ahead. So that all this crookedness, all this dryness, all this brokenness, though it's still part of the mountain, will stay at the bottom in the past. And we will get to step one step closer to brand new green fields with wildflowers and streams flowing through it. Till we reach right here, the summit full of light surrounded. Now let me ask you guys, are you willing to commit to this journey?
I mean, it's a little scary, honestly, but I guess it will be worth it to get to the peak and see a new perspective, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What up? Are you willing to commit also?
I mean, yeah. Well, I feel like, yeah, I've already taken a lot of steps. It's been scary, and what's stopping me now? Might as well just keep going.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the beauty of it. It's the perspective. You have already overcome something in your life and came out victorious. And that's what I want you guys to realize. You are not full broken creatures. You are not people who have messed up and stayed down. You are people who have had to overcome adversity and difficulties over and over and over. And I want to remind you, you are so strong. You are so bold and courageous to want to take this next step and reframe all of those things with a brand new perspective, saying, yeah, I can do this. I am worth it to take the next step. And my life is valuable enough for me to leave all of this stuff behind so that I can be exactly who I was made to be. Because I'm valuable and I mean something. And as we do that and begin to love ourselves through this journey, that bright light at the top will get closer and closer and closer, one step at a time. And it's a beautiful journey. And so, climbing the mountain of life is supposed to be fun. And I want you guys to keep that in mind. And we've created this workshop to make that happen, to facilitate fun and joy. And so here we have ping pong tables, we have foosball tables, we have basketball, lots of food, lots of drinks. Yeah, right? And so I want you guys to take the next 15 minutes, get some refreshments, go to the restroom, and enjoy the journey. If we don't enjoy the journey, it's not going to be worth it. That's why I don't want this to be intimidating, looking at the whole mountain at one time. We want to be present here, not letting yesterday affect our tomorrow. But the only way we can do that is finding the joy in the moment. And as we do that, every step I take is one step closer to the top. Even if I take a step and I mess up, that would normally send me backwards. The reframing of this perspective is going to focus on growth. I just did something that may have been wrong, but now I know something that's going to launch me forward. And so that wasn't really a step back. It was still a step forward because I learned and I grew from it. So every moment, every step is going to be laced with joy. So let's go have some fun. We got 15 minutes. I will call you guys back and we will continue on to the next part where we really take a step in the journey. All right.
Bye. Thank you.